Chassidus and Chizzuk-Parshas Emor. It's been a long time since we've done this. B'ezras Hashem will start off strong, getting into the Parsha. So you say like this, take a daf makoros. Okay. I didn't bring your piece from Chizzuk-Parshas, a piece about Eretz Yisrael. I couldn't find the sefer because it's lost somewhere. So just give a quick tefillah that B'ezras Hashem we should be zocha to see the kochos and the beauty of Eretz Yisrael in everything that we do. And B'ezras Hashem through that, and through Limud Torah, through B'ezras Hashem through being in Eretz Yisrael, through thinking about Eretz Yisrael, through doubting about Eretz Yisrael, we should be zocha to see the Gulub Meir V'Meinu.
Is it the one that same author is talking
From Moshe Tzriel. No, from Moshe Tzriel. Very different. From Moshe Tzriel spoke here. So we say like this: the first source, top right, V'nidashti b'soch b'nei Yisrael. And I will become holy, I will become sanctified through B'nai Yisrael. It's a beautiful, beautiful, quick teaching from the Chidushi Harim, one of the Ger Rebbes. B'shas lamdu mizeh shashchina shor al asara. This is the source in all of Shas. Whenever we're discussing minyan, whenever we're discussing how many people you need for a minyan, how many people you need for a davar kadosh, what's the source? V'nidashti b'toch B'nai Yisrael. This is one of the main sources for discussing, for proving that you need 10. We've seen this in Rabbi Nachman a lot in the past. That in every single Jew, in every single Ish Yisraeli, yesh nekuda kedusha, top right. Yesh nekuda kedusha pnimis. There's a small source. There's a place inside every single Jew, and the innermost parts of your neshama that is kadosh, no matter who you are. And when people gather together ba'ava gedola, when Am Yisrael gets together in ways of love, when Am Yisrael comes together to mispalo, to daven. When Am Yisrael comes together to eat, when we're eating together, the highest form of love is saying, here, take some of my food, take some of my drink. When we come together to daven, like on Yom Kippur, a person can't come to daven Yom Kippur unless you've forgiven every single person in the room. How can you daven in a room with people that you hate? How is it even possible? So also tefillah, b'shas achila. In all these times, ha'asifa ba'av, when we gather together, ba'av, gedula nasis, nekuda achas, kedusha, klula, me'asara, v'zu, v'soch, v'nisah, v'ptimius, shebehem. That when every single one of us, when Yoni, when Ariel, when Zev, when Mikey, when Eli, when we come together, and plus another 4, when we all get together, and every single one of us have a kedusha pnimis, we have a nekuda kedusha pnimis, and we gather all those nekudas together. So naturally, no matter who you are, you could be the biggest rush in the world, but as long as you're an Ish Yisraeli, as long as you're considered a Jew, there's a kedusha within you that's able to be gathered amongst Am Yisrael and give HaKadosh Baruch Hu a place in the world to exist. And it's an important thing to realize. It's a very, very important chizuk. Chassidus and chizuk. This is the chizuk that we should all know, no matter who we are, no matter where we're holding it in life, no matter what we're doing, that I have within me a nekuda kedusha pnimis, within the deepest depth. The Tanya, the Baal Tanya, the first Lubavitch Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe Miliadi, he explains that there's a kedusha, there's an ava misuteret, there's a hidden level of ava within each and every single one of us, and in the deepest times, it's able to come out. So you ask a question: how come a completely secular Jew in the Holocaust, a completely secular Jew, not just secular, he's lahachis, he hates Judaism. You could give him $1 million and he'll dafka eat the pork. I'll give you $1 million not to eat treif. No, I'm going to eat it anyways. He's willing to give $1 million to eat treif. But a Nazi comes and says, I'm going to kill you. What does he do? He's willing to give up his life for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because a person within the deepest parts of their soul, a person has that nekuda kedusha pnimis, a nekuda, a source, a dot of kedusha within yourself that comes out at times when it's needed the most. And this is going to come up.
Batanya was before the Holocaust?
Batanya was written way before the Holocaust. So, that's the teaching from the Yichud Yisharim. Come. I'm going to miss you. Okay, we're going to move to the left. We're going to be looking at a teaching from the Bad Ayin. The sefer we haven't done yet in the Chabura. The Bad Ayin is second, Rav Chaim Mi Varich, the Varich Rebbe, I think. Yeah, the Bad Ayin. No, very, very important Rebbe. He's buried in Tzfat. He made Aliyah in the 1800s. One of the first. What?
What's about that? Like, what is it?
The Bad Ayin, it's about the Parsha, and it's just the most beautiful things. He's a Talmud of the Berditchev Rebbe, the Kedushas Levi. And so we're bringing up teaching here. This is I saw it, but I was looking at the Bad Ayin, one of my favorites far, and then I see he's quoting the Kedushas Levi. So I had to bring this teaching. It's a beautiful piece. He says like this: and it goes on to discuss all the different halachas about the Kedusha of the Kohanim. Harav HaKadosh mi Berditchev. The Rebbe Berditchev, the Kedushas Levi, explains. Pirish HaKosav al derech shepirish bala Or HaChaim. He explains it the same way the Or HaChaim says. Wow, I'm just bringing in names. The Gemara Megillah says that what? The Gemara Megillah says when a person quotes someone, you're bringing Me'ula. Because when Mordechai quoted Bigtan and Teresh, when Esther quoted Mordechai about the whole plot with Bigtan and Teresh, so because of that, the Geula came about. So whenever we're teaching a Torah teaching, we should quote anyone that we've heard the teaching from, and we should bring their name. It brings the Gula. So we learn the Orchaim, the Berdishever, the Barayin, so many different tzaddikim. So we say like this: Shapir Shmilas Emor Miloshin Ma'ale. The word Emor LaKohanim means what Ma'ale that you're bringing them up. That something is being brought up upon them. We'll see what this means exactly in a second. Rotzalomar, meaning to say Shakadosh Baruch Chashash. Hakadosh Baruch Hu suspected. Shekshiyomer lehem ki kadosh hu lelokav. When Moshe says to the Kohanim that the Kohanim are kadosh to Hakadosh Baruch Hu, what happens to a person? What happens? I go to a stam person on the street and I say, I just want to let you know that you have a special status amongst those people, that you're on a higher elevated spiritual level than any other person in the world, and because of that you have some extra special rules. So what did that person, naturally most people do, especially amongst Oved Avodah Zarah, what does the priest do? You ever read about the Aztecs, read about the Oved Avodah Zarah. What's the priest? What is he? He's the haughtiest, he's the king, he becomes the Paro. What does Paro do? He's the king of the Oved Avodah Zarah. He lives on a spiritual realm that's beyond anyone else. So what does he do? He takes that koach and takes it to a place of filth. So naturally, that's what a person will naturally do with their natural midos, with their taivos of olam hazeh. So Kadosh Baruch Hu says, oh, what's going to happen? You're going to go to the Kohen Gadol. You're going to go to the Kohen, and what's going to happen? You're going to say, oh, you guys are kadosh. And so what's going to happen? Maybe they're going to start saying, oh, the rest of you Jews, you guys stink. Oh, maybe you're going taxes. You guys think you can't do this. Only I can do this. So what does the Kadosh Baruch Hu to make sure that doesn't happen? Therefore, Kadosh Baruch Hu commanded Moshe, Emor el hakohanim ben Aaron, with a specific lashon of Emor, not tedaber el hakohanim. I don't even know if that would be proper to say. When you're telling the Kohanim that they are kadosh, don't make them think that the kedusha is because of themselves. Don't say that you were born and therefore you're kadosh because you have inherent kochos as kadosh. Rather, make sure that they understand that they should understand that as a Kohen, that the only reason they are kadosh is because Aaron Kohen had a special relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And Aaron Kadosh, who was an Anav, who was an Oiv Yisrael, was Oiv Shalom, Rodiv Shalom. He was a person who had beautiful, beautiful minos, and therefore was able to be kadosh. And then as a result of that, so he passed it on to his children. So the Kohanim don't think that you guys are kadosh because of yourselves. You guys are kadosh because of the yichus of Aaron Kohen. He's your great grandfather, and he had a special relationship with Kadosh Baruch Hu, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu gave Aaron Kohen that his children have the bracha to be especially kadosh. This is important for all of us also, like Avi Cohen said in his Dvar Torah recently. He said what? He didn't say that. Kadosh Baruch Hu says that every single Jew is a Kohen. Every single Jew has to view themselves as a priest. Every single one of us has to view ourselves as with a certain level of yichus to Aaron Kohen, like we heard the other night from that Rav that spoke. That we have a midah of Aaron. We all have to be involved in that midah of Oiv Shalom, Rodiv Shalom. So we're also there. We also have to Kohanim. So we should always realize that this nekuda that the Chidush Harim was talking about, that nekuda kedusha pnimis, it's not from us. That's a matana from Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's a matana schinam. It's a free present Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us. We don't have to work for it. And therefore, we always have to thank a Kadosh Baruch Hu for that. We have to say, Kadosh Baruch Hu, thank you so much for being kadosh, and we have to realize that we have to work for it also. On one level, it's free. On one level, it's inside of me. No matter what I do, I have it. But when I'm levad and I'm by myself and I'm a singular Kohen, I have to realize it's not for me. I shouldn't get haughty as a result of it. It's an important thing to realize, especially as we get to the later points of Shanav. We should realize that all the stuff I've been doing, all the work I've been putting into myself, all the different things I've been able to realize and reach about myself, that I shouldn't. It's important to realize, Gevalt, I have kochos to work on myself, but also realize that Kadosh Baruch Hu, He gives us presence. Kadosh Baruch Hu is constantly sending a shefa into the world.
So there's two levels of holiness, an inherent holiness and
a holiness that I worked on. Yes. But even then, both of those are coming from Kadosh Baruch Hu, not because and they're connected, 100%. Okay, moving on. We don't want to go too late. Okay, we're going to teach a teaching from the Kedushas Levi. Now, it's a beautiful teaching in and of itself, but we should focus on the intention of learning about Rebbes. Learn this teaching and just imagine the person saying this teaching as he's saying it. Just a way of understanding Psukim, a way of understanding Pshat, taking a pasuk and making it seem like this horrible pasuk about burning a Kohen's daughter and taking to a place of what does it mean in terms of my own personal vote as Hashem. Watch what he does. Uvas Kohen kikechel is nos. If a Bas Kohen finds herself in a situation where she acted inappropriately, as a viyahi mechalelis, not only does she do something wrong, but she ruins the name of her father. Be'eish tisarif, and you have to burn her on a fire. Okay, Gemara's halacha has discussed the situation and what happens there. I'm going to get into the pratim, but look what the Kedushas Levi does with this. Diyadua, it is known. Ksha'adam chotei, when a person sins, chas v'shalom, ose pagam l'mala v'nosin koach l'klipos. When I do something in this world, I cause a pagam l'mala. Everything I do in this world, this isn't a logical statement, but it's a true statement. When I do something in this world, not only does it affect me in this world in terms of my own meters, but it also affects worlds above me. There's worlds around us. There's parallel dimensions, quote unquote, that are constantly surrounding us, that a Kadosh Baruch Hu sends his kochos through. And when I sin, I cause a pagam, I cause a blemish in those worlds. And as a result of that blemish, I cause klipos, I cause negative kochos to have power in the world. Explain this derech mashal. You have a shining diamond. The diamond's very, very shiny. Now what happens if I'm walking through the street and I kick a bunch of dirt onto that diamond? The diamond is now pogam, it has a blemish on it. Let's say a rock hit it, now has a scratch. But on top of that also there's dirt covering it. So now the klipos, the surrounding layers, don't allow that diamond to shine as brightly. So too when I do a sin. There's lights constantly shining in the world, and also my neshama is constantly shining in the world. And when I do a sin, I cause dirt to be kicked onto that diamond. It's not able to shine. That's an easier way of understanding exactly what's going on. But harafu lazet, Rabbi Nachman, the Kedushas Levi says, just mentioned Rabbi Nachman's verse so that we should be zochah to connect to the topic. But going back to the Kedushas Levi. The Kedushas Levi explains.
How long?
And that the way to heal yourself from this situation is that a person should burn the chitzonim al yidei shemislav lebor through his slavos, through a person's excitement and energy in serving Kadosh Baruch Hu. You're able to burn off those outer layers that have stuck onto our neshama and to the holiness of the world. Why does Islavus come? Why does a person get so on fire? Because there's so many things that are hiding my neshama from being able to breathe that I can only come and get the stuff away through fire. Now look how he ties this back into the pasuk. So we understand the concept that when something happens in the world to block kedusha from shining, how do I bring back that shine? How do I bring it back? Through fire. If metal gets broken and metal gets cracked and there's a chink in the armor, so what do? I have to meld the armor. I have to melt it down through his slavos, through fire, and therefore I'm able to reconstruct. So now look at how he ties this back into the pasuk. When the Shama, because the Zohar says, Rashbi, coming up the art, so Emor-Yonah explains that the Neshama is called the Bas Kohen. Ki Teichel is news, when the Neshama finds itself in a situation where it was involved in something inappropriate for the Neshama. Es aviyah hi mechaleles. What does that mean, es aviyah shi mechaleles? You're already smiling, because Torah makes us happy. She'ose pagam lamala. What does it mean lamala? It makes a pagam to aviyah, to the Neshama's father. It makes a pagam in a Kadosh Baruch Hu's ability to be shora in the world, to rest his Shechina in the world. V'harafua he, and what's the refuah? What's the pasuk say next? Go back up top. Be'eish tisarif. In order to get a Kadosh Baruch Hu's light shining back in the world, how do I bring that back? Through his slavos, through me singing, through dancing, through screaming my tefillas, through saying Psukei Zimmer like a mantra, even if I don't know the words. Like a mantra I say it. Like the Indian Kabbalists. A mantra I say tefillah, I scream at my tefillah, I sing davening, I sing songs, and I dance like HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And even if I'm not dancing, even if I'm not in the Avodah Hashem, even if I'm out mowing the lawn for my mother, I still do it with his slavos. I do it because I know I'm doing kibbut avim. And every single, if I'm playing basketball, if I'm working out, every single thing that I'm doing, it's part of my Avodah Hashem. And I do that with his slavos. So not only am I doing a good thing, but I'm also clearing the way for HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light to shine in the world. Oh my gosh. Peirush? What does this mean? What's the ultimate tikkun for a sin? Through a person being on fire after a sin. So I fell. And I come to davening and I'm steiging, I'm going in my tefillah. And then what happens? Yitzhar comes to me and he says, Yonah, what are you doing? You just did the worst thing ever. And you think you're going to fool everyone that you're being Islavos? So take the Yitzhar, punch it in the face and say, go away. I want to say so many other things. But say, go away. I'm Islavos right now. This Islavos is real. The Kedushas Levi is saying this is what naturally is supposed to happen. The dirt, the filth just covered my neshama. How do I get rid of the filth? Fire. Islavos. And even if it's fake, it's Islavos. Fake fire still hurts a lot. I would assume. I've never had fake fire before. Amen. That's the Kedushas Levi. That's the teaching. What is a teaching? A teaching when I'm learning Torah should be a bracha for myself. Every single Rabbi Nachman, all the Chassidus, all the Rebbe's say, when I'm learning Torah, I should make the Torah into a teaching. I make it into a tefillah. So Rabbi Nachman, the Kedushas Levi, that when I learn these teachings, it should be a bracha. So Kedushas Levi says that it should be amen, this bracha. That the Metzias is we have Yeridas. The Metzias, as Rabbi Nachman teaches us, is that we do fall sometimes. But Rabbi Kedushas Levi is giving us a bracha that we should be zocha, that after I have that fall, after I fall into that place, we should be zocha to also put ourselves on fire. Mamish, to take a match and light ourselves on fire. And that's one of the reasons like we light fires. I tell you, in Meron, you just want to jump into them. You want to burn yourself on fire because you feel it. Neshamas, you can feel it. You're amongst Ami. So going back to the Chedush Yerim, you're amongst 500,000 Jews. The gathering of all those Nakuda Kedusha Pnimius that's inside of every single Jew, 500,000 of those. So 10, the Kadosh Baruch Hu was able to show Shechina on Am Yisrael. But 500,000, that's almost as many people as came out of Mitzrayim. All in one place. So imagine that neshama that's glowing in that place. So we see these fires burning up. It's just a symbol for what's going on in our own bodies. That our neshamas are burning up. So you want to be slavish. I'm saying this is. And now you can understand the Kedusha Levi. Imagine that face. Imagine the Kedusha Levi walking the streets of Berditchev, seeing those Jews and davening for Am Yisrael. Let's end there. If you have time, go through this Mei Shiloach. We're going to learn it later. This Mei Shiloach, the next one on the right side, is mamish fantastic. But I can't. I have to end with the Berditchev. We should be zocheh to connect to the Ishbitzer Rebbe. We should be zocheh to connect the Mei Shiloach. Fire and water to put them together. Tiferet is the ultimate connection between peace and slavos, of a calmness, my Hashem, of anon's mirror. So we should be known, we should be calm and feel comfortable in Hashem, but also in fire of slavos. And Be'ezrat Hashem, through that we should be able to connect to ourselves. We should connect to Eretz Yisrael. We should connect to all the Jews around us. We should be able to see Hakel, that when all the Jews gather together, to see that light of every single Jew shining out within it. And just I have to go back to the Mei Shiloach. The Mei Shiloach pretty much is saying the Kohen can't see dead. The Kohen. Emor-Yonah, that you can't see dead people. Don't make my base of English into a place of death. What does it mean, death? Take it to a. This isn't what the Mei Shiloach says, but it reminded me of it. That when the Kohen sees death, what do I mean death? A Kohen can't see people as they're dead. The vote of a Kohen, the vote of a Jew, Mamachas Kohanim, is don't see the Yidden around you as people who are dead. Don't put them in dinim. Don't view them as negative things. Oh, look at that Jew, he stinks. Look at that Jew, he stinks. Look at myself, I stink. It's usher for us to look at that. Mamachas Kohanim, the vote of the Kohen is to look at people as chayiv. The avoda is for a Kohen to look at people as living people. And we're able to look at all the Jews that way. We're able to look at each other that way. To look at ourselves that way. When we're able to look at HaKadosh Baruch Hu that way, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu there's no dinim, it's just chesed. And we're able to be one with Am Yisrael. So Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be able to zocha to see the fires of Meron, and that fire of Meron to bring it to the Mizbeach, the Eish Tukad al Mizbeach. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we should see the love of Krov Meir V'Yameinu.